take your seats. I know you're excited because I am. All right, so this evening we have a powerful lineup for you. And at this point, it's just like, it's in me to say that because it's always a powerful lineup. What we do here at Wednesday Night Power Up is to re-energize and revitalize in the middle of the week. Why? Because you leave here on Sunday feeling amazing. And then Monday is always great. And then Tuesday is like, all right. And then Wednesday, you're like, okay, we're gonna keep going. So this is why we're here, right? To give you that midweek feel. So I'm so happy that you're here. Thank you for being here. I am your host, Karyn Buxman, and we're gonna start off with Lauren Lee Martin, whose voice, oh my goodness, the first time I heard her, I was like, I need to have her back. And I had her last week, and I was like, can we get some more, please? So help me give her a warm welcome to Lauren Lee Martin.
Thank you, guys. You guys ready to have fun tonight? We're gonna have a good time. Ooh, 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 ooh. Help me out, Jim. Ooh. Here's a little song I wrote. You might want to sing it note for note. Don't worry, be happy. In every life we have some trouble, but if you worry it might be double. Don't worry, be happy. Don't worry, be happy. Don't worry, ooh, be happy, ooh. I want to hear your voices, come on. Ooh, so beautiful. Ooh, ooh, yeah. Ain't got no place to lay your head. Somebody came and took your bed. Don't worry, be happy. The landlord said your rent is late. He may have to litigate. Don't worry, sing it, come on. Be happy, yeah. Come on, ooh, it feels good. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, I love it. Let me hear you. Ooh, yeah. Ooh. I got one more verse for you. Ain't got no cash, ain't got no style, ain't got nobody to make me smile. But don't worry, you can do it. Be happy. Yeah, 'cause when you worry, your body will frown, and that will bring your body down. But don't worry, yeah, be happy. Be like this guy right here, yeah. Ooh, be happy. Ooh, don't worry, be happy now. Ooh, yeah, yeah. Ooh, don't worry, be happy. Thank you.
Right on. Beautiful.
Isn't she amazing?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be singing that when I go home.
That's right.
All right. So, this is the portion in Power Up where we really center ourselves. So we have a wonderful practitioner here with us who will make you smile just when she walks up here. She's been with Seaside for a while, and we love that she's here with Power Up, and she has said yes. So please give a warm welcome to Denise Herman.
Thank you, Kat. Isn't she adorable? Okay, so now's a time where we go into our centers. We're going to just get right in there, get right into our alignment, right into what makes us tick, right into what makes us empowered. Going to that place of God, knowing that God is all things. God is that interconnecting creative force that interconnects all of life as its individualized expression, as its individualized essence and entity to flourish and nurture out in the world, in this so-called earth, in this so-called life, in this so-called humanness. And as that spiritual being having a human experience, we move into that exploration and opening and yearning. And moving into that, we move into and open up and flourish and nurture and encourage and grow and evolve. And as I know this for myself, I know this for each one here present today, listening, present here in the sanctuary and present listening over live streaming. We see you out there in live streaming. We know you're here. I can see you in all the seats spread out here before me. Knowing this, I know that God is that oneness. God is within each one and touches each one in its own individualized purpose, in his own individualized way of that soul's fulfillment. And opening right here, right now, knowing that all unfolds perfectly in our talk tonight with Karyn Buxman. Knowing that in that thoughtfulness, in that thought, and going to thought and using humor, that all opens up. The funny bone is a release. The funny bone is God in action. The funny bone is what releases and lets go that angst and surrendering to that love, to that goodness, to that feel good that's inside. And I know that and bless that and claim that right here, right now for each one. And in that, I know that the law takes the imprint of my word and acts upon it right here, right now, knowing that this law of attraction attracts to us all we need, blesses us, nurtures us with all we need in each and every moment. And I move and claim that each one here goes to that alert listening, of the heart, soul, all coming together in that synchronicity. And I know it, I trust it, I allow it. And I release my word into the law in that great thanksgiving and that appreciation of each nuance of life, of each lesson, of each morsel. And I release my word into the law knowing it is done. And we all say, and so it is.
Denise. So Denise did a wonderful job of getting us in that space, because my question here is, what brought you here today? Why are you sitting here? There's so many other things that you could be doing, so many other places that you could be, and you decided to bring your consciousness and yourselves here today. So if you're watching, this question is for you too. What made you log in? So we're gonna have Jim on the piano as we go within to find our intention for this evening. gently fluttering your eyes open. Welcome. And here's our space where we get to, as a community, share with each other what came up for us. And of course, for me, what came up was joy. And if you haven't been to Power Up, you could just yell it out. Fellowship. Support. More joy. Laughter. You came to the right place. Peace. Loving self. Okay? Gratitude. Fun. Purpose. Center. De-stress. Perfect. Wonderful. And for all those intentions that have been said and those that have not been said, together we say, and so it is. That's right. I was like really excited to get to this point because I'm like hyped. I was like, I'm gonna bring Karyn. I think she's hilarious. There hasn't been one point where I do not laugh when she's around. Either because I'm taking a picture and she like literally just starts laughing, right? Or whatever it is. It's so funny because I had her bio printed out and it was right here and I was talking to her and I was like, what do you want me to say? And she was like, you don't really have to read that. And I was like, no, I'm gonna read this because you need a proper introduction. And then Spirit came along and it's gone now. So, that's what happens. So, just some fun facts about Karyn. She has spoken at NASA, and she has spoken at Mayo Clinics. She was a registered nurse, and now she speaks to companies about humor. So she calls herself, or she is, a neurohumorologist. Is that even a word? Did I make that up right now? Neurohumorist. See, that's why I wanted that paper, just for that one word. So I'm incredibly excited because we have never had someone like her at Power Up. I have never heard anyone other than her TED Talk be funny about everything and just live the life that way. And I came here to Seaside and listen to Reverend Christian, and that's what he's all about, right, is joy. So now we're taking it to another level with someone who has studied and perfected neurohumor. So help me give her a warm welcome to Karyn Buxman.
Woo! Thank you, girlfriend. Fellow girlfriend. The Buddha, Jesus, and Ernest Holmes walk into a bar. The bartender looks at them and says, "What is this, some kind of joke?" Okay, that is the only joke you're going to hear from me tonight, because I'm not a joke teller. And for those of you who are concerned that to have more humor in your life, that you need to be a joke teller, I have good news. You never have to tell another joke. I, as she mentioned, am a neurohumorist, and I know some of you are thinking, oh my gosh, another neurohumorist. How many neurohumorists are they going to bring to us? But I have studied the power of humor for 30 years now, and I am more excited today than I was 30 years ago, and trust me, I was so excited back then. And so many parts of my life are coming together at this point. Actually, I moved here in 2004, but when I was living in Missouri, once a month I was asked, we were a rural community, and we had mutual ministry because I was in an Episcopal church, but our priest had to serve numerous churches, and so once a month I was the one to deliver the homily or sermon. And so in so many ways, it feels like coming home because Seaside is my home and I love it here. I was telling somebody earlier tonight that once I moved here, and I had done a little church shopping, but when I got here, I said, I'm home. And I know that many of you have had that same experience. So, Ken Blanchard, in his book, We Are Beloved, tells a story about 4-year-old Sachi, a little girl who was so excited when her parents brought home a new baby brother. And she started pushing them to let her spend time alone with her baby brother. And the parents were a little concerned. They thought, a lot of 4-year-olds might be jealous. Maybe they would want to shake the baby or hit them. And so they told her no. But they noticed that she was very kind and very gentle with the baby. And her requests were becoming more urgent. And so finally they said, okay. She was so excited. She raced to her little baby brother's room and shut the door, but it didn't shut all the way. It was a bit ajar, and the parents could lean in and see and hear what she was doing and saying. And they saw her walk very quietly up to her baby brother, and she put her face right next to his. And she said to him, "Baby, can you tell me what God feels like? I'm starting to forget." What does God feel like? Can you remember what God feels like? Let me hear you shout out. What would be some thoughts from you? What do you think God feels like? What does God feel like? What does the universe, what does your source feel like when you are in that space? What does it feel like to you? Love, contentment, serenity, cuddles. What'd you say, Tom? Soaring. I love it. Exciting. Joy, bliss, happiness, giddiness. Abraham teaches the, I just drew like the different levels that we experience, the emotional guidance system. And it varies. At the very far end, we can experience distress, depression, fear. And as we move up gently, we can go from anger, we can go to frustration, we can go to boredom, we can go to hope. And then once we get to hope, it's, a much quicker and shorter ride to some of the other positive emotions, where we can eventually move up to love and joy and bliss. I remember when I first came to Seaside, and there was such an ache in my heart. I won't even go into all of that story, but there was a series of events where I felt just so sad and such heaviness in my heart. And as I learned and took lessons and came to the classes and I sang the songs and all of this, but I was trying so hard to move from despair to joy. And being the overachiever that I am, I just tried harder and harder and harder. It's like, I'm going to get there. And I was like, come on, let it go. It's like, and how do you think that worked for me? Not so well. I finally realized that to go from despair to joy was just too big of a jump, but that I could move up incrementally. Now, the wonderful thing is that we have been given the most marvelous tool in helping us go this length and up the emotional scale, and that is humor. And we don't necessarily jump from one into the other. I like to think of it a little bit more like a dimmer switch. We kind of get a little further and a little further. Sometimes you can make that leap. How many of you in here have never seen the movie Steel Magnolias? Is there anybody? Okay, there's one or two of you. Your homework assignment this week is to watch it in its entirety. The rest of you can do as I do, actually at least once a month. You can go to YouTube and you can find the segment that says funeral scene. Right. So here is just a recap of those of you who have seen Steel Magnolias. I am like Pavlov's dog. I am just so conditioned that when I see Sally Field in the cemetery and she's with her friends, and all of a sudden she just has this breakdown. And she turns to her friends and she's telling them, it wasn't supposed to happen this way. I was supposed to go first. It's not supposed to happen this way. I just want to hit something hard. I just want to hit something. And I just want to feel as bad as I do. And then Olivia Dukakis grabs Shirley MacLaine and says, here, hit her. And you go in a nanosecond from tears to laughter. And as a matter of fact, Truvy's character, played by Dolly Parton, says, laughter through tears is my favorite emotion. But generally, humor can take us from despair to anger to frustration and help us work up that emotional scale. And why would we want to be there? Because when we are in that state of joy, when we are in that state of bliss, this is when we are in alignment with our true self, with our true power, and this is where the magic happens. This is where alignment is. This is where manifestation plays. But how many of you have ever been in a situation where you're hurting and you're coming from your head and you're going, I believe that abundance is mine. Yes, abundance is mine. Yes, I believe. But you're not feeling it in your heart. You're only in your head. I truly believe that affirmations should be fun. They should be playful. How many of you have fun, playful affirmations? Lori, what's a fun, playful affirmation that you have?
I am connected to the delightfully delicious divine spirit in me.
I am connected to the delightfully delicious divine spirit in me. It makes me want to dance. Who else has one that makes them smile? Say again. You don't want to say you don't have to say yours. Mine is, I'm $1 million baby. That makes me smile. That makes me laugh. That makes me feel playful and in alignment with Source. Sometimes I'll say, the universe has a crush on me. When I say those kinds of affirmations, I'm now coming from my emotional space, not my intellectual space. And the good news is that humor helps you get there. I've studied humor for 30 years, and over the last decade, I've studied humor and the brain. And oh my gosh, it's amazing because humor has the power to heal. Humor has the power to influence. Humor has the power to connect, and humor has the power to enlighten. And I talk to corporations around the planet, but usually I'm talking to them about how it's the physiological effects or the psychological effects, or in terms of connection, how it can connect you with another person. But what I came to appreciate is that the humor not only connects me to those outside, but it connects me to my source within. That's the kind of connection that I want. And when we have that connection, interestingly enough, we experience during moments of mirthful laughter. One of my friends and colleagues, Dr. Lee Burke, one of the leading psychoneuroimmunologists, spelled just like it sounds, one of the leading psychoneuroimmunologists from Loma Linda did a study on the brain while his subjects were experiencing humor. And what we discovered was a reinforcement of what we already knew, that humor is a whole brain activity. It affects the prefrontal cortex, which is the part of the brain that works with wit and helps you decide whether or not something's funny. It works with the limbic system, which is the emotional component or mirth. And it works with the occipital lobe of your brain, which it helps you express the physical expression of humor, which is laughter. But in addition to that, there is a cascade of neurotransmitters that are going all through your body. And it's affecting you not only at the cellular level, but at the subcellular level. We now show that it affects us at the level of our DNA, and this is epigenetics. But not only that, those of us in this room understand it is beyond the level of our DNA, that it is a wave level. It is a fine, infinitesimal level that affects us as far deep as we can go and as far out as we can go. Oh, man. Does it get any better than that? So, in terms of connection, I ran across a quote and I loved it. It was saying that, it was by Charles Schulz. And he said, nobody would have been asked to dinner more than Jesus was, unless he was intelligent and had a sense of humor. You know, our greatest spiritual leaders have a sense of humor. I have laughing Buddhas all over my house. And as I studied Ernest Holmes, I found that he was one to have a great sense of humor by all reports. And so if it's good enough for them, I think it should be good enough for us. So in terms of that, how can you move forward? I teach this all the time. And on the outside table, I want you to feel free to, there are some handouts out there. They actually are ones that I use with corporate groups and healthcare groups, but it'll give you a flavor and it'll have a few explanations on there of some things that you might find interesting. But I wanted to give you a couple of ways to take this information, because it's not enough to know this. You have to take action. It's just like if you're studying the Word and you're studying New Thought and you're studying the religious studies, to read it and read it and read it, but not practice it, well, that's a nice read. But it's not going to move you into that space where you can step in to your true power, where you can step into your alignment and then manifest those things which you are in alignment with when you are at that expression of joy and that expression of happiness and that expression of bliss. So one of the first things that I recommend to people is to see funny. And I mean that literally, but also metaphorically, because humor is all around us. And there are people who are thinking to themselves right now, but you don't understand my situation. There's nothing funny happening in my life. No, it's miserable. And I will tell you that if that is your belief, that is your experience. But if you start asking yourself, well, what am I missing? You're going to start seeing things, and you are going to start hearing things and experiencing things that other people are missing. And another cool thing about the brain is that you have a part of your brain called the reticular activating system. It's a little finger-like projection that acts as a filter. And when you say and you make the intention that I want to see this or I want to experience that, your reticular activating system says, cool, I can do that. You buy a red car and all of a sudden you think, where in the world did all these red cars come from? Somebody in your office is pregnant and you're thinking all of a sudden, it's a population explosion. Look at all these pregnant people. But your reticular activating system is hard at work, helping you filter and see more of what you have put your attention on. What do you want to put your attention on? You don't want to put your attention on the negative or you're going to get more of that. How can you put your attention on the positive? How can you put your attention on the humor so that you can move yourself up that emotional scale? If you are in that intention, you will start seeing things. And how many of you have ever been to the Brick and Bell in La Jolla? How many of you have seen the sign in there that says unattended children will be given a free puppy and an espresso? They have funny signs, funny things all over the place. One person in one of my sessions sent me a delightful little letter, and I would love for you guys to share your experiences with me. And she was from Texas and Midland, and she was on a drive, and she said, my granddaughter, who was about 8 years old, called me while I was on the drive. I had stopped at a McDonald's, and she said, where are you? And she said, I'm in Plainview. And her granddaughter gasped, and she said, can you see Jesus? And it took her a moment before she realized that when she was 6 years old, she had taught her a song that went something to the effect that Jesus is here, we'll show him to you, just open your eyes, he's in plain view. She figured since Grandma was in plain view, she was seeing Jesus. So practice seeing funny, practice. And as you do this, there is an experience that we call Hebb's Law. Hebb's Law says that neurons that fire together wire together. And the more you look for humor and the more you find it, the easier and faster it becomes. So at first, when you're looking for humor, you may not find it. You may not see it. And you may say, oh, well, see, that proves it's not, I don't have any humor in my life. But the more you do it, the easier it becomes. And the more you will see the humor around you. Another exercise is a bit of a visualization exercise because your brain cannot tell the difference between, what you visualize and what is real. And the piece with humor is that there is something we call the anticipatory response. Just thinking about humor has been shown to give us the same physiological and psychological benefits as if we were actually experiencing the humor. So I would ask you to think about a moment of mirth. At least one. I keep a journal as they come to me. Usually they come to me at family reunions, parties, etc. You're all getting around and now you're telling the story about Uncle Harry who did this, or Grandma, my grandmother. Oh my gosh, we got some stories about my grandmother. We got some stories about Mom and the kids and whatever. So I want you to take a moment right now and I want you to anchor a moment of mirth. Maybe it's a parent or a grandparent. Maybe it's a child or a grandchild. Maybe it's something at work. Maybe it's the sound of someone's laugh. My mother's been gone in physical form for over 10 years, but I still hear her laughter in my head. And then I want you to take that moment of mirth that is in your head, the power of thought, and I want you to anchor it in your heart. I want you to take that moment of mirth and I want you to anchor it in your heart. And once you have it anchored in your heart, I want you to say, the universe has a crush on me. 1, 2, 3. The universe has a crush on me. One more time, hand over your heart. The universe has a crush on me. The third and last thing that I'll leave you with for today is to laugh anyway. Because sometimes there is nothing funny. Sometimes you're not going to see the funny signs. You're not going to hear the funny things that are said. And it's fascinating, again, such wonderful, perfect design that we are, that we can experience the benefits of humor, whether our laughter is real or not. Does anyone here know what the first sound of the universe was? Ah. Together with me. Ah. All right, now let's just tweak that a little bit. Ha. One more time. Ha. All right, and now follow me. Turn and look at somebody close to you and share. Bennett Cerf once said, "The person who can bring laughter into a room is blessed indeed." And so it is. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Made my makeup run. I am a light, I am a light. 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 I am not the things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of a brokenness inside. I am light. Yeah. I am light. 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 I'm not the mistakes that I have made, any of the things that cause me pain. I am not the pieces of the dream I left behind. I am light. You can sing it with me. I am light. 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 I am not the colors of my eyes. I am not the skin on the outside. I am not my age. I'm not my race. My soul inside is all light. I am 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 divinity defined. I am a God on the inside. I am a star, a piece of it all. I am light. I am light.
Beautiful.
Woo, we have so many lights here this evening. Thank you, Karyn, for your talk. That was amazing. It really was. I feel like a completely different woman up here now than I was when I got here at first. Thank you. Thank you, Lauren, for your song. So this is the space where we get to talk to each other. So what resonated for you? What came out of this talk? What are you going to take home today? So if you are watching online, go ahead and take out a piece of paper and a pen or pencil and write down what you got from this message for today. And then I'll give you guys some time to talk to your partners. And Jim, if you can go ahead and noodle for us. All right. You guys have a lot to talk about. So, stick around in the family room so you can talk a little bit more. At this point in the program, we're going to share. So, it sounds like we have a lot to say this evening. And we have Karyn here. So, if you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand and ask some questions. So, I'm going to come down with the mic. If you have any questions online, ask them. And we will get back to you later. I can't be on my phone and here at the same time because I'm only one human being. But if anyone wants to volunteer to do that for next service, go ahead and let me know. So I'm going to come down with the mic, and Karyn
Awesome.
will be on stage answering any questions, or if there's anything that you want to tell her, something that
Yeah.
resonated with you, with your group, and you guys want to share with Karyn this evening.
What I forgot was how easy it is to get into, to just laugh, that I don't need a prompt, so to speak, but I can laugh, a belly laugh, where I'm with nothing. And when I stop, when I stop, it just, my body just feels so much different.
Doesn't it feel
so
good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Lori.
Is there a curriculum that's being used in medicine today with this concept where there's chronically illness going on, where there's stuff happening to your physical body? Have you created a curriculum where you can bring laughter to that patient?
Wow, thank you for that wonderful segue, Trudy. I actually teach a graduate level course with an association, the Association for Applied and Therapeutic Humor, which is a 3-year certification. But what I'm developing right now, and some of this I'll talk about in our call to action, is starting next week, I'm going to have a free 7-day series where it's just videos on nourishing your sense of humor, just nourishing it. Because when I'm currently, Greg and I are writing my book for Forbes, which will be out this fall, called Funny Means Money. And one of the concepts that we developed was high performance humor. And we recognize that it's the appreciation of humor and the application of humor. You need to, you would want to have both to really get where you want in life. And so from there, I am, after next week, starting in May, I'll be developing a monthly community that will be teaching this. And so for people who are interested, for those of you who are watching, because those of you who are interested, there's sign-up sheets outside. You can just leave me your email address and I'll make sure that you get the information. For those of you who are watching tonight or watching this as a replay, if you email, I'll give you my personal email because I really want you to implement this, and that's Karyn@KarynBuxman.com. And let me know if you would like to be part of this community, because those who are the early adopters will be charter members and get special benefits. YN, KARYNBUXMAN. Thank you. But yes, I mean, we are trying to get the word out there. As a matter of fact, next week, I'll be in Chicago addressing 4,000 healthcare practitioners who are working with people who have chronic kidney disease, renal disease, or on dialysis. So there's more and more interest in the medical community and in the business community about how we can get this out there. But it is such a powerful force for people who have disabilities, invisible disabilities, people with chronic illnesses. That's a whole nother course, but in terms of the actions on every part of the body, the effect of cortisol, which is such the big, that's the big bugaboo, which causes inflammation throughout the body and different challenges in our body. And the fact is that, positive mirthful humor does lower all the anti-inflammation and so many other wonderful effects. And one of the things that I forgot to mention was the effect on your brain that Lee showed was that it also produces gamma waves. And I know many of us have gone to work with Joe Dispenza and go through deep meditation so we can try to ratchet up and meditate harder so we can get into that gamma wave. And then Lee showed that we don't have to work that hard. We can laugh our way into gamma waves. Who knew? Talk about divine. Woo! I get excited. Anyway.
Okay, we have time for one more.
I just want to say I'm so glad to hear somebody else who appreciates Ben and Sir.
Oh,
Because I don't
thank
think
you.
Anybody knows him. And his books, I remember, were so humorous because they had that a little bit of eloquent or elegance. He would make a play on words. I've been trying to
Yes.
think of one of them that's just right there. But thank you for that.
Oh, you're so welcome.
And I'm going to be sticking around afterwards. Would love to hear your comments, your stories, your experiences, your questions, because really, my intention to come tonight was because I was intentional that there would be at least one person in this room who really needed to hear this message tonight so that they could move themselves into that alignment with who they really are and manifest what you really desire.
I think that's a beautiful segue into your call to action.
Okay, so my call to action is about that intentionality, and then the call to action is about moving from knowledge to intentionality and moving into action. I've used the example before. When I was a nurse, I was trained on how to perform CPR. But if you were to fall over and clutch your chest, it would do you no good if I walked up to you and said, I know CPR. You got to do it. You got to do it. And so my call to action is don't just take this information, because to just take it and listen to it is entertainment. And it's wonderful that we can be entertained by humor. But what we know now and what you have the responsibility now that you know is to take this action, to move forth, do it on a consistent basis. One of the things that we have defined in high performance humor is to take the information, to appreciate humor on a consistent basis, but also to be applying it for a desired outcome. And it doesn't matter if your desired outcome is a business outcome. It doesn't matter if it's a personal outcome. It doesn't matter if it's a family outcome. It doesn't matter if it's a spiritual outcome. The universe doesn't care. But if you take that intentionality and you go to your desired outcome and you implement humor, practice healthy humor consistently and over time, I am here to give you my word that you are going to move into that space where you experience the joy and where you experience the bliss and you experience the happiness and the health that you so rightly deserve, that is yours, and that you will be in alignment with Source. And it already rocks, doesn't it? Thank you.
Hello. Okay. So, it's funny because it's funny. So it's funny because this month of April is actually National Humor Month. So we tied it in with the Power Up theme of wisdom. So that just fell in so perfectly. So with all this being said and all that's been done, do you feel powered up? Some of you feel powered up. Do you feel powered up? All right, you are powered up. Thank you. I feel it now. And this is the space where we get to give thanks to Seaside Center for Spiritual Living for giving us the sanctuary this evening, for holding the sanctuary this evening for Power Up. And thank you very much. And so I would like for the ushers to come forward. And this is where we get to practice in the law of circulation, knowing that what we put out there is what's going to come back. And this is not why we give, this is how we give. Okay, so I just want to give thanks to all that are here, and I want to give thanks to the spirit that flows in me through me as me, so that I may be here and I may show up for Power Up, knowing that all the words that flowed this evening, all the melodies that flowed this evening have uplifted us, have moved us, so that we can go out into this world and make a difference. And so we bring our offerings to our heart and repeat the affirmation. This gift I give is God in action. I give it in joy, I give it in love, I give it in gratitude for all the good in my life, and so it is. Thank you.
This gift I give is God in action. I give it in joy, I give it in love, I give it in gratitude for all the good in my life. And so it is.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Jim is so amazing. I keep saying noodling, and he just goes with it. He's like, I know exactly what you mean, the noodling. So I want to thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for bringing your laughter. Thank you for bringing your consciousness. Thank you for bringing your smiles. You made the difference for this evening. And being out there in the audience and feeling your energy invigorates me. And this is why I do this. And this is why I show up every single Wednesday, is so that I can share this time with you. So if this is the first time that you've been here, or that you have been here at Power Up, I want to thank you. And if you've been here before, I want to thank you. So I want you to give yourself a big round of applause. Woo! All right, and if you're watching online, thank you for tuning in. Waleska from Yucaipa, we have Kevin from Ithaca, we have Daniel from Rancho Bernardo. If there's anyone else that I forgot, I am sorry, I don't have my phone on me. Send me a message and I will definitely shout you out next week. I want to thank Gregory, who is behind the camera, and because of him, you get to see us. So thank you very much. We have a new intern in the house. Her name is Indy. So thank you, Indy, for being here, and thank you for your time. Yeah, Indy! They shouldn't give me a mic, right? Because I'm just way loud. Thank you so much, Tim. You are here every Wednesday, and without you, Power Up wouldn't be the Power Up house that it is. So thank you, Tim, for your patience and for being here every Wednesday. I really do love you guys. You don't understand the amount of love and appreciation that I have for every one of you that are here. Thank you so much, Ed. Because of you, we have a PowerPoint that keeps on going even when I forget to press the button. And we have sound. So thank you so much, Ed. And if you didn't notice, we didn't heat up and we didn't freeze. And everything is beautiful and wonderful and organized because we have Ginny here. So thank you so much, Ginny, for coordinating and for making sure that everything goes smooth and easy. Yeah, Ginny! We're not done yet. There's so many people to clap for. All right. And then we have Candace, who has been holding the space, holding the light, making sure that we are kept in the light and the love that God is, that we are. Thank you, Candace, for being here, and thank you for holding the light. And of course, Jim. Jim is always right there. When I say noodle, he noodles. And when I just need him, he's there, and he's organizing all the songs, and he's always talking to the artists. So thank you so much, Jim, for being a part of Wednesday Night Power Up. And Lauren, what a voice on that woman. My goodness. Thank you so much, Lauren, for being here. I just want you to know that your smile and your energy brings this Power Up to an entire new level. So thank you for being here. And then we have the funny, but not a comedian, the funny, the intelligence, and the radiance that comes out of Karyn just when she walks into a room. I want to thank you for saying yes. I want to thank you for being here, and I want to thank you for all that you brought to us. You've definitely changed my life, and I'm pretty sure so many more. So thank you, Karyn, for being here.
Thank you. Thank
you. And one more. Thank you, Denise, for being our practitioner this evening. Because of you, we are able to really hone in and anchor in the knowingness of who we are, and what we're doing here for Power Up. So thank you so much for saying yes and being on rotation. And I'm going to ask you on stage. Thank you so much, and a round of applause for Denise. Oh, one more person. So many people helped me. Thank you so much. So we have Tracy here, and if it weren't for Tracy, I think I would have lost my mind a really long time ago. She makes sure that the PowerPoints are done, that the emails are sent out, that everything is printed. She is definitely there for me, and she has a few flyers for you. I want to thank Tracy for all your help and all your time and just being here as our volunteer. So thank you so much, Tracy, for your love, your light, and everything that you bring to Seaside. All right. I am not a singer. Oh. Thank you. All right, so now I'm going to ask you all to stand up. So at this point, we're going to do our congregational song, and we're going to laugh, and we're going to clap, and I'm going to ask Lauren to come back up. Please meet us in the family room so we can have a conversation. I would love to talk to you all. Thank you so much, guys.
All right, don't be afraid to clap for this. I am a thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes things, that shapes my life. I am a thinker that thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life. I am a thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes things, that shapes my life. I am a thinker who thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life. If you ask me who am I am wisdom, I am light. I am more than meets the eye. I cannot be defined. I am a thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes things, that shape my life. I am a thinker who thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life. Sing it out. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes things, that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life. If you ask me what am I am beauty, I am joy. I am more than meets the eye. I cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes things, that shapes my life. I am a thinker who thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life. Sing it with me. I am a thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes things, that shapes my life. I am a thinker who thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life. I have the power to change my life. I have the power to change my life. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. We will be in the family room. Make sure to sign up with Karyn. And if you have any questions, let me know. Send them in. I will talk to you after.
We are powered. We are powered up. We are ready. We have the power to be the change that we seek in the world today. We are powered. We are powered up. We